Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Gunlam F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. We're just going to dive right on in, guys. So we started off with NXT per the usual. Um, lot of setup more than anything else, but we did get the first matchup. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, Chase U versus Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak. When it was all said and done, winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 4 seconds was Chase U. Solid opener, good matchup. I could say about 2.5, 2 and 3 quarters of a star. It was fine for what it was worth. It was good action, beginning to end, and I think the most sensible outcome, Chase U winning the matchup. So I really got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
The crowd was completely behind Andre Chase and his return to the ring. There's no question about that. And this was a fun match, building on the crowd energy. While the Chase U student section plays an obvious role, no matches are quite energetic in NXT as Chase U matches, especially with the professor back in action. Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey never had a chance, but they played their role well enough. NXT cannot seem to figure out a clear plan for the technicians who are better at building other stars than themselves. The Chase U student section started a crowd wave in support of the professor as he rallied, and Andre Chase did the Chase U stomps for the first time in months and went to the top rope for a crossbody, and Drew Gulak broke up the likely 3 count. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for me. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts as Andre Chase is back in the fold and Chase U gets a big win here.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see the Andre Chase back. Yeah, the crowd was definitely behind him here, and yeah, Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey did put up a good fight, but in the end, there was no doubt the face team was going to win this one. So I'll give this about 2.5 stars as well for this match here. A solid match here to open up NXT. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, with that said, we do move on. Next up was Cora Jade versus Kiana Jordan. It was Cora Jade winning in 3:57. We don't really need to talk about this one. So right after that, we had was Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov, where the winner will receive an NXT Championship title match at the Great American Bash. When it was all said and done, winner of the bout, 14 minutes, 21 seconds, Ilya Dragunov will face Carmelo Hayes for the NXT title at the Great American Bash, or will he? We'll get into that in a little bit. But Anthony Florio, Dragunov, #1 contender.
4 to 4.25 stars. I could easily call this the fight of the night here, no doubt about it. After a strong month of build, NXT threw together this match on a night where they could not main event. While these two did not have quite the absolute showstopper they are capable of, they still delivered the biggest moments of the night. This built to an impressive crescendo. The final 5 minutes were electric, and it genuinely looked likely that either man could win when it mattered most. It was the right call for Ilya Dragunov to win. Braun Breaker's story with Carmelo Hayes is done. The Mad Dragon had never faced the A-Champ and could give him the best match of his title reign. This may be the last time fans see Breaker in NXT. He has put over multiple stars in NXT on his way out and should quickly become a dominant force on Raw or SmackDown. Breaker warned Dragunov that he would break him, and the Mad Dragon called himself the most intense man in NXT, ready for anything. Breaker blocked the running low forearm smash by getting his boots up. He then smashed Dragunov with a bulldog that missed the mark by a bit. The Mad Dragon nearly took the win with the Torpedo Moscow. Dragunov dived right into a spear, barely managed to kick out. And that's all there is for me to say on that. So this, to me, was the fight of the night. 4 to 4.25 stars. Fantastic match. And there isn't anything left for me to say except Michael Bullock, look at this. Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes, NXT Championship at the Great American Bash. Whoa. Ho-ho. Show stealer. Match of the year contender.
Oh yeah, when you got the caliber of the NXT champion Carmelo Hayes and then Ilya Dragunov, you know you're in for something really special at the Great American Bash. Uh, yeah, 4-4 and a quarter. Fight of the night here. There's no question about it. I mean, this to me was the right outcome because, I mean, look, the feud between Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker is done. There is no need for them to continue with this, and they need a different opponent for them. And Dragunov is the perfect guy. So, yeah, what a match here. Fight of the night, 4-4 and a quarter. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So it's yours, Fletch, and I would like to hear from you. What do you mean by or will he? I'm interested to hear this side of the story from you.
Well, the only reason why, and let's be realistic here, guys, Money in the Bank. You know, Money in the Bank can be cashed in anytime, any place, anywhere. And and need I remind you that, oh, I don't know, you know that Damian Priest was in the building yesterday? And I know they were talking about Dom and, well, we'll get into that. I just thought that, you never know. Maybe before the A champ runs into Dragonoff, he just might run into Damian Priest. Catch him. You never know. So I know, wishful thinking. There ain't going to be any. The possibilities slim to none. But you know. But anyway, 4-4 and a quarter, even 4.5. You can make an argument for it. It was definitely the fight of the night. It was an amazing matchup, to say the very least. And yeah, so we just move right on along here. Next up, we got is Tiffany Stratton versus Ivy Nile. It's a non-title fight. Tiffany Stratton winning the match in 4 minutes and 39 seconds. It was exactly what it needed it to be. That was that Tiffany needed to get the momentum. She got it. It was a good win. So there's really nothing more to add here. Next up we had was a big one. Channing Stacks to Lorenzo versus Joe Coffey. This was for the freedom of Tony D'Angelo from prison. And it ended up being Stacks winning it. 7 minutes, 16 seconds. That means Tony D'Angelo is out of the clink. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
2 and a quarter, 2.5 on this one. I mean, it was a fine match. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but yeah, thanks to his friend. I mean, Tony D'Angelo is now out of jail, and yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes from here. So yeah, so there's nothing more to say. Fletch, Tony D'Angelo is now a free man.
Yeah, 2.25 stars, solid battle. Like I said, there wasn't really much to talk about here, but it did serve the purpose. The story is now gonna take to the next level with D'Angelo now out of jail, and now we're gonna get the homecoming for him next week. We'll see how that plays out, and more importantly, we'll wait and see how it's gonna look. So, yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
2.5, 2 3/4. This was a match with multiple twists and turns. Stacks revealed he had not betrayed the Don, but he then had to fight through all 3 members of Gallus to pull off a miraculous win. Some of the reveals were poorly timed, but the overall experience was a positive. Stacks delivered in one of his better in-ring efforts. Gallus did not lose much throughout, as the underboss had to use every trick possible to win. This story has been full soap opera for better or worse, but it has clearly set up the family as the team that could and maybe should dethrone Gallus at the Great American Bash. The Don did not sound confident in Stacks' chances in this match in an interview with Mackenzie Mitchell from jail. Joe Coffey called his shot and hit all the best for the bells, but Stacks kicked out. He was not happy, yelling at the underboss for backing out on their deal. Tony D called into the arena to make fun of Gallus for thinking they could get one up on the family. He was mostly unintelligible. And you notice Bronco Lima and Lucien Price got in the face of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang at ringside. Apparently, this was the extent of their promised NXT debut. And Stacks struck the NXT Tag Team Champions, then got them thrown out by pretending that they struck him with a crowbar. He pulled a little bit of an Eddie Guerrero moment there, lying and cheating and stealing here. So 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. No question about that. So let's move on.
All right. And speaking of something that could go down next week, Dominic Mysterio is going to go one-on-one with Wes Lee for the North American Championship. Of course, Wes Lee does his open challenge, and now Dom decided that he wants to make the call and is going to take the opportunity. The one thing, I hate to say this, if there's anybody who would be perfect for a developmental, would be Dominic Mysterio. This could be a moment where we could see a new champion, guys. I hate to say it. I think we could have a new North American champion. I know Wesley's been a great champion. I know he's been amazing. But you know they've been pushing the Judgment Day very hard lately. I mean, look, Rhea Ripley, Women's World Champion. I could see Dom as the NXT North American Champion. You could have him defend the belts both ways on Raw and NXT. Then, of course, Damian Priest, Money in the Bank, that almost assures him a shot at any title he sees fit. And of course, Balor is right now in the World Heavyweight title picture with Seth freaking Rollins. So we know that a mega push was coming. We know a push was going to be inevitable. But could I see Dom winning the title and winning the NXT North American title? Yes. Do I believe it's going to happen? Very possible. Very possible. So we'll see. All right. Main event of the evening was Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams versus members of the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, winners of the bout, 12 minutes and 14 seconds. The Judgment Day. All right. You know what? I'm going to say it. Good matchup. About three stars. Solid main event. Good battle. But that's the thing. Judgment Day getting the win. The momentum is firmly on their side. And of course, unfortunately, if you're Carmelo Hayes, that was the last thing you need for your team, to lose a match against the Judgment Day, as you are firmly now got to face Ilya Dragunov at the Great American Bash. When the A-Champ could win that match, I know Money in the Bank. I know snicker. No way is Damian Priest going to try to cash in on the NXT title, but if they want all the gold, it's possible. Anything is possible in WWE. So remember, the Money in the Bank can be cashed in at any time, any place, anywhere for any world title. The NXT title is in play. The WWE World Heavyweight title is in play. The Undisputed Universal title is in play. Anything can happen. So at the end, how's it look? How's it plays out? We'll wait and see. But one thing's for sure, it's a scary proposition. So 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
3 1/4, 3.5. This was a very fun main event. Finn Balor and Damian Priest have found their chemistry as a team and worked very well off of the fresh NXT team. While it is a shame to see the A-Champion lose again, it was inevitable. Melo is still not ready to fight at Judgment Day's level. However, it looks like the A-Champ could be building himself up to eventually overcome the Prince. The miscommunication at the end between Melo and Dragunov protected the champion, while building heat between the future opponents. All in all, it was a smart end to a good show. Mello and Trick looked as good as they ever have as a tag team. They could do well in that role on the main roster when the time comes. The Prince sent Mello into the turnbuckle with a drop kick, then went for the coup de grace. The A champion ducked and hit a sling blade. And Mello and Dragunov were not happy with one another at the end of the show due to their collision earlier before the finish. Second best fight of the night here. This was 3 1/4 to 3 1/2. So not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, the Judgment Day. They kicked the door down. They kicked the door down in NXT, and they made themselves at home on your show.
Much to my dismay. Last thing I want is a bunch of thugs. Yeah, that's what I'm calling the Judgment Day. A bunch of thugs kicking the door down on my show and basically making themselves at home. I mean, yeah, Carmelo Hayes, he tried to be the guy to protect the NXT especially as the champ, but yeah, he loses here, and this is not the way you want to give this guy. He just lost some momentum going into his matchup at the Great American Bash. So I mean, with the Money in the Bank in play, I mean, could Priest cash in on Carmelo Hayes? Maybe. Do I think he will? I don't think so. I mean, would this be the way for Carmelo Hayes to lose the title? I mean, especially after he won it at Stand and Deliver. I mean, you want him to be a really good champion, and for him to lose that way, I don't know. I mean, it would rub me the wrong way. I mean, it would definitely set up the excitement, but I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see on it. So, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, second best fight of the night. So Fletch, I think it's time for our overall thoughts on this edition of NXT, and I think Florio starts us off.
He does. Anthony, it's yours.
Nothing I love more than when I get to lead off on the overall review, because I have a lot to say about this. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. NXT was cooking with gas at times last night. The crowd sounded hot. The action was solid. While nothing on this show is likely to be remembered in a couple months, this show did exactly what it should. Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov was not quite the instant NXT classic that its build promised, but that did not stop both men from competing at a high level to make it feel important. Judgment Day may have started a show flat, but they made up for it by adding prestige to the main event. Damian Priest and Finn Balor make the talent around them better. Tony D'Angelo's story took a while to reach its conclusion, but the stage has been set for an exciting match to come with Gallus. The main question marks remain with the women's division. Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale has to be more than just a good TV match next time. The two need to represent the entire division at the Great American Bash. The return of Chase U was a great added element to this show. Duke Hudson needs Andre Chase, and the two together make the whole show more exciting. And the direction toward Great American Bash is strong. Almost all the pieces are in place to make it a better event than Battleground. So this was a very good show last night. The show's getting better and better every week, and I'm here for it, and we're all here for it. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Michael Bullock, take a bow, my friend. Another good show from you guys. You guys are getting better here. I'm loving it.
Yeah, exactly, and like you said, I'm definitely taking a bow. Or as somebody that used to work as someone that used to work at WEI used to say, and of course who does the Boston College football games, John Mita Perrell would say, "Take a bow." And I think that's what NXT did last night, because they definitely put on a good show last night. 7.5 to 8. I mean, yeah, that Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov was the fight of the night. The second best fight of the night was the main event with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So, I mean, there are some things that definitely could have been better on the. I mean, you had a couple of other good, other solid matches. I mean, yeah, there were some spots I thought could have been better, but it's definitely not to take away from what we saw last night. So 7.5 to 8. Fletch, quickly your thoughts, and then let's get into Dynamite.
8 out of 10. I thought it was an excellent show. I thought everything flowed really well. Could it have been better in certain elements? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I thought they did really well with it. So, nothing more to add. Let's go right into AEW Dynamite, and we started it off with Chris Jericho going one-on-one with Commander, and it was Jericho winning the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Enjoyable opener. There was some good match, some good stuff in it. It wasn't the best match or the greatest thing in the world, but it was fine for what it was worth. It was a solid 3-star bout. Don Callis came out to try to recruit Jericho to be a part of his crew for the second week in a row. Jericho never gave him an answer, so we continued the storyline on that. Really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, very good start to the show tonight. And bear with me for one moment here. I'm a little frozen. So, all right. Breaking news, if you're watching the ESPYs right now, look who's presenting the what could be the final award of the night. Becky Lynch and Seth freaking Rollins.
That definitely was tonight.
Oh, yeah. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow night on TXN Sports World. But for right now, that's a little spoiler. But as far as this match with Jericho and Commander is concerned, the Ocho was able to absorb the unorthodox, high-flying offense of his opponent and ultimately tapped him out to the Lion Tamer for the win. Match was a solid one that, while it was a bit disjointed in the closing moments, played to both men's strengths. Commander hung with a legend, and Jericho earned the win without interference from his cohorts, which bled into his continued hesitance to join the Don Callis family in the post-bout promo. It would appear as though Jericho is nearing another babyface turn, and given that he has done all that there is to do as a heel at this point in the company, that's hardly a bad idea. The former world champion has always managed to adapt and evolve, most of the time ahead of the curve. Do not be surprised to see him do it again. Jericho wisely wrestled the match to his strengths by slowing the pace and not trying to keep pace with his opponent. It made for a better match and helped him build heat because of how cerebrally he cut off the match competitor's momentum. The commentary team did not sell Jericho's Codebreaker to Commander out of nowhere nearly enough. It was a significant finisher that his opponent kicked out of, and the entire spot was treated like any other in the match. Jericho tapped Commander out with a Lion Tamer for the win. Don Callis arrived and produced a video of him and Jericho with Bad News Brown from 1995, but was unable to get a straight answer out of the Ocho in regard to joining the Don Callis family. MF, you said this was about a 10-minute or so match, I believe you said. So I'll give this about 3.25 for the effort. So solid way to start it. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on Jericho and Commander.
Yeah, I thought this was a good match to start off this edition of Dynamite. I mean, yeah, the outcome was never in doubt, but definitely Commander really gave Jericho all he could handle. But yeah, I mean, Don Callis made an appearance and basically, obviously, still looking for an answer from Jericho on where he stands when it comes to becoming the 5th member of the Blackpool Combat Club when it comes to Blood and Guts. So yeah, still no answer on that. So yeah, so all in all, I thought this was a good match. So 3 stars for me. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, next up we had was one of the semifinal matches in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. Of course, this is the quote unquote we like to call the Battle Bowl, the Lethal Lottery, and it was Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia versus Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, winners of the bout, 12 minutes and 55 seconds. Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia are going to the finals. Anthony, it is yours.
12. How long was that? 12? Okay.
Yeah, about 12:55.
12:55. That's what it was. All right. 3.5 stars for the effort here. Sammy Guevara may want nothing to do with the JAS at this point, but he will have to stomach partnering with Daniel Garcia for at least one more week after the duo upset Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin in the semifinals of the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. Swerve Strickland intensified his rivalry with Darby Allin, interfering and costing the babyfaces the match, while Guevara's act of contrition afterward by extending his hand to Darby furthered his upcoming character switch. The match was a ton of fun. The pace was fast, the crowd was hot, and the chemistry of all four competitors was on full display. The finish was solid, enhanced an ongoing rivalry, and set the stage for potential revenge on the part of Darby Allin later in the show when Swerve Strickland battles his protege, Nick Wayne. So, let's see. Garcia and Guevara exhibited signs of dissension, with the latter forcing his way into the match by tagging his dismayed partner. Garcia is too good for this dancing sports entertainer nonsense. Prince Nana of the Mogul Embassy interfered, attempting to get Garcia to break Allen's skateboard over Orange's back. The distraction of the referee allowed Swerve Strickland to rock the face-painted competitor with a jumping knee. And Guevara defeated Allen with the GTH and appeared disappointed with the outcome, offering his opponent a sign of respect as his babyface turn continued. So, like I said, 3.5 stars, one of the fights of the night for sure. So, not much more to say here. And, well, except for, we got the groundwork for this. The finals of this tournament will be next Wednesday night on Dynamite in Boston, and will serve as the clear number 2 main event, as the clear co-main event, along with the Blood and Guts match, obviously. And then from there, the winning team will challenge FTR for the World Tag Team Championship on AEW Collision Saturday night, July the 29th, from the Elite XL Center in Hartford. How about that? So big stakes for these matches coming up. So 3.5 stars for this one. So Michael Bullock, Daniel Garcia, and Sammy Guevara, one win away from possibly going to Hartford and challenging FTR for the tag team titles on July 29th on the Collision.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 stars, and I mean, you could definitely see like some dissension, of course, with Garcia and Sammy Guevara. I mean, and Garcia probably wasn't happy with Guevara extending his hand to the losing team here, and it's only a matter of time before Guevara is officially done with the Jericho Appreciation Society, and even with the victory, there's still some dissension here. So so there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this is easy. A 3-star bout, no doubt about it. Everything looked good. It looked flawless. It looked enjoyable, to say the very least. Um, you guys alluded to everything. You guys alluding to possibly Sammy Guevara, basically leaving the JAS, which is probably going to happen very soon, sooner rather than later. Of course, with the impending birth of Sammy's daughter. If you've been following Sammy Guevara's blog on YouTube.com, you know that him and his beautiful wife Ty Mello are expecting a girl. So with that going on, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, it looks like the Jericho Appreciation Society looks like they're on the verge of splitting up anyway. It looks like there's definitely some grounds and everything else down the line. So we'll see how it plays out. But with that said, we do indeed move on. The other half of the semifinal, MJF and Adam Cole goes up against Big Bill and Brian Cage, and it was MJF and Adam Cole. They advance to the finals. They win it in 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
2.5 to 3 is my rating for this match. I mean, it was another solid match. I mean, obviously, I mean, this whole thing, it continues the whole thing with when it comes to Adam Cole and MJF here. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out, especially as we get to the finals. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say on this. So it is yours, Fletch.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, this was a solid matchup and everything else. I kind of okay. There's two ways this could go. MJF turns on Adam Cole and helps Sammy Guevara and helps Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia win the tournament, or Cole and Adam Cole and MJF wins the tournament, gets the shot at the titles, and then maybe either one or two things happen. They shock FTR and win the belts, and then you had this odd couple team that doesn't want to work together, and now they're forced because they're tag champions now. Or MJF turns on Adam Cole, that helps FTR successfully defend, and then that opens the door for, because one way or another, we know it's going to go a number of different ways. We know it's going to end with either, who knows how this plays out, but there's nothing more to say. So 3 stars, Anthony, it's yours.
3 for me as well. The match was solid. The post-match promo was tons of fun, and the company may very well have lucked into a pairing that is going massively over just in time for them to go their separate ways ahead of their inevitable championship battle. The most interesting development is the manner in which MJF is purposefully or not creating tension between Adam Cole and his loved ones, Britt Baker and Roderick Strong, as he steals his attention. Perhaps this is how the devil ultimately screws Cole over, leaving him without his girlfriend, his best buddy, and the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Prior to the match, both Roderick Strong and Britt Baker via a phone call were dismayed over Adam Cole apparently taking a liking to MJF. MJF trying a body slam on Bill, feigning a back injury and yelling, "Mother of God," was great stuff. Who knows where he will be working in 2024? But he is going to make a ton of money and deservedly so. The guy is gold, whether you like him or not. The build of the body slam was some expert storytelling that paid off with a big pop from the fans. It's the little things in MJF and MJF does them extremely well and to great effect. Adam Cole blasted Brian Cage with the boom for the win. And MJF after it said, "That double clothesline is coming, Adam. It's coming." And when it does, the pop will eclipse that of the body slam exponentially. Solid 3 stars. So there isn't much more for me to add on to this. So MF, we move on now to the semifinal, the first semifinal of the Owen Hart Women's Tournament.
Yes, the first semifinal, it is Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue. Ruby Soho winning the match in 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and she has advanced to the final. And I believe this goes to... Actually, I lead off on this, right? Yeah, I lead off. Look, solid match. Good battle, good fight. At the end of the day, I'm not as, about everything. I feel like this is exactly what it needed it to be. It was good for what it was worth. And that was how it played out. So, yeah, I mean, well done. Good job. It's about maybe a 2.5, three, close to 3. But at the end of the day, Ruby winning the match, I feel like she's going to win the tournament. I honestly do. I feel just as I think a lot of people think CM Punk's going to win it on the men's, I think Ruby Soho's going to win it for the women. I think they're going to, because of the fact that a year ago, a lot of people thought Ruby should have won it a year ago. I think they might do a mea culpa and give her the win this time around. So I think Ruby Soho wins the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. So we'll see. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. The match was a hard-fought one that saw Ruby Soho have to go it alone after her outcast teammates were barred from ringside, and she did just that. There were parts that were a bit off, with some of the action disjointed down the stretch, and Ruby appeared to take a nasty bump on her face, but the match accomplished what it had to. It would have been nice to see Sky Blue make it to the finals of the tournament, but she has the opportunity to build momentum moving forward and develop into a top-tier babyface in the future. Sadly, the fans in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan do not appear to be as into Sky Blue as those stateside. She was building great momentum as an underdog babyface, but the fans here were more anti-outcast than pro-blue. Referee Stephon Smith ejected Tony Storm and Saraya from ringside, seemingly ensuring the match remained one-on-one, but not before the heel sent Sky Blue knee first into the ring steps. Soho worked over the knee of her opponent and scored a significant win all by herself, cashing her ticket back to the finals of the same tournament she fell just short of winning a year ago. You would have to make Ruby the favorite, but I don't know why, but I got this feeling about Willow Nightingale. I don't know why. I'm just getting this feeling about that one. That's a name we have to keep an eye on. She goes up against Athena on Friday night on Rampage, so I would not at all be surprised if Willow Nightingale wins that match and we get a Ruby Willow final, because I know there's been we've been having a lot of interactions with those two lately. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to those two on Saturday night in Calgary. So 2.5, 2 3/4 for this. So Michael Bullock, Ruby Soho back to the Owen Hart finals. Another chance for her to win it. But if Willow Nightingale beats Athena, watch out for Willow. Willow could swoop in and steal that thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, 2.5 stars on this one. I thought this was a solid match here, but yeah, I mean, this is another chance for Ruby Soho to win this Owen Hart tournament, and especially after losing it to Britt Baker last year. But yeah, I think you need to watch out for Willow Nightingale if it turns out to be her. So we'll wait and see on it. So there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Fletch.
All right, and with that said, we move on to, I believe this is going to be the main event. No, we had Nick Wayne going one-on-one with Swerve Strickland, and it was Swerve Strickland winning the match in 10 minutes and 10 seconds, I should say. Anthony Florio, it's yours. Hey, give it up for Nick Wayne, man. First time out and pretty good debut for him, but he did lose to the veteran, Swerve Strickland.
3.5 stars. Nick Wayne was set up to succeed in AEW before his match with familiar foe Swerve Strickland ever started, and he lived up to the expectations heightened by the video packages that preceded his debut. He hung in with one of the more underrated in-ring performers in AEW and nearly knocked him off, were it not for Prince Nana's interference at the last second. This was a strong introduction to a young competitor Tony Khan and AEW brass hope will be a foundational player for the company well into the future, and he could not have been in there with a more giving, selfless worker than Swerve Strickland, with whom he had worked in his independent days. That the match served to intensify the rivalry between Darby Allin and Swerve was a nice bonus. AEW's production team did a fantastic job of the vignette leading to Wayne's debut. He had every opportunity to succeed before the bell ever rang, and that is a testament to the dedication of management to treat the young man like a big deal. Wayne delivered his Wayne's World finish, but Prince Nana put Strickland's foot on the bottom rope, breaking the pin. Moments later, Strickland delivered the last call, but his opponent kicked out at 2, and Darby Allin watched from the apron as Strickland nearly separated the shoulder of his opponent and put him away with a JML driver. This was a fantastic match. I'm going to go as far as to call this my fight of the night here. This was a 3.5 star match. Very well done, to say the very least. And I'm very high on this kid, and I'm telling you, I know it's going to be some time, but within the next couple of years or so, if not sooner, don't be surprised if that young man is wearing championship gold at some point. So there's not much more for me to say on that. So 3.5 stars, fight of the night for me. Michael Bullock, I mean, give it up for Nick Wayne, 18 years old, 18 years of age, mind you. And he took Swerve to the limit and then some.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? 18 years old, and this is the match that we get from Nick Wayne in his debut, basically pushing Swerve Strickland to the limit. I'm telling you, after seeing that, I am so high on Nick Wayne here. I know it's only one match, and we need to see it more, but man, I just came out so impressed with him. I mean, so much so that it took some help from the embassy to get Swerve Strickland to win this match. So yeah, 3.5 stars. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, like you said, it was a very impressive performance more than anything else, and I was thoroughly impressed. I was, great matchup, great performance by him, and yeah, 3.5 stars. Great moment for him, and we'll see how it plays out. So now it led us to the main event segment. This was uh, the reveals of the fifth men for each team. Um, it turned into a brouhaha as Omega came out, and well, it was Pac. Pac attacked and basically said that he is the fifth man for the team, for the Blackpool Combat Club. That it will be him representing them. So the five for them will be John Moxley, Takeshi Takeshita, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, and yes, Pac the bastard. He is the fifth guy. But before they put a chair over the back or over the neck as they were about to finish him off, any last words? Yeah. My last words is look at the monitor for our fifth guy. Much to the, well, no big surprise here. It's Kota Ibushi. Team Elite is now the Golden Elite. Their 5 members, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Adam Hangman Page. That's your 10. That's going to be locked in. The two rings with the cage over the top. Blood and Guts TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts. 1 week from tonight, it goes down. AEW Dynamite. Oh my goodness. What an announcement. Anthony Florio. We got our 10. Lock those boys in the cage. Let's get crazy.
Segment of the night. There is no doubt. After years, let me tell you, folks, Kota Ibushi is coming to All Elite Wrestling. After years of expectations from fans that the heralded star would join his teammate and friend Kenny Omega in the company, he finally will. Ibushi was announced as the 5th member of the babyface side of the Blood and Guts match on next week's show, reforming the Golden Elite with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Adam Page in their war with the Blackpool Combat Club. John Moxley, Konosuke Takeshita, and Don Callis revealed tonight that Pac will join the heels as that team's 5th competitor, rekindling the Bastards' company-long feud with Omega. Despite coming late, Ibushi's arrival is still a big deal for fans of the promotion and his work with Omega and New Japan. His debut next week will be a big deal. Social media will run wild, and the result will be a hotly anticipated match. Where the story goes from there, and if it benefits anyone other than the Golden Elite, will be the real question. The Ibushi announcement was met with a nice pop, but it felt as though the chants of Cowboy Shiz for Hangman were equally as loud, something that few could have imagined given the anticipation of Ibushi's debut. The Pac reveal was great because there is such a wealth of history between him and Omega dating back to the debut of AEW. Breaking him off from Death Triangle teammates and babyfaces to Lucha Bros feels like an appropriately timed decision anyway, at least for right now. So, without a doubt, this was the segment of the night. Get ready for what easily could be not only the biggest, and I mean the biggest Blood and Guts match, but maybe even the greatest one so far. And Kota Ibushi, I can tell you about Kota Ibushi. You remember the Cruiserweight Classic, where he was the odds-on favorite to win that thing before getting upset. So, those instant classics he had in that thing, and just imagine what he's going to do in the Blood and Guts. Oh my goodness, that's going to be something else. So, not much more for me to say. Michael Bullock, Pac, aka Adrian Neville, rounding out the BCC. Kota Ibushi rounding out the Elite. Get ready for what's going to be the greatest and perhaps the biggest Blood and Guts match to date. In Boston, no less. Whoa.
Man, I mean, yeah, Pac being revealed as the 5th member for the Blackpool Combat Club, and then you get the Elite countering, saying that Kota Ibushi is going to be the 5th member of the Elite, basically making them now the Golden Elite. I mean, oh my gosh. Get ready, Boston, next week. This is going to be one of the most insane Blood and Guts matches we've seen since the concept of it. And when you get all these guys that are in there, this could be a contender for match of the year. But we'll wait and see. But this is going to be crazy. Yes, I mean, obviously there's going to be blood because, hello, it's Blood and Guts here. So, yeah, I cannot wait for this next week. I can't wait to see what goes down. Great way to close out the show. So it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah. And then we just have to wait and see how it plays out. Of course, we still got one more big show coming up because that's Collision from Calgary this week. And this is the big one, guys. This is the Owen Hart Foundation final, the men and the women. On the men's side, it is going to be Absolute Ricky Starks versus CM Punk. And right now, on the women's, like you said, Ruby Soho is in the final. She has to wait for her opponent. Like we said, it's either going to be Athena or it will be Willow Nightingale. And whoever it is, they are going to be facing off with Ruby in Calgary. So we got we got a big show lined up. And remember, also 2 out of 3 falls intercontinental rules for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, as it is going to be Bullet Club Gold versus FTR. I mean, man, Collision has the makings of being an epic event more than anything else. We'll have to wait and see, man. So it's going to be wild. Anthony Floyo, come on in. Hit us with the overall review on this show. So it's yours.
This was the best episode of Dynamite in a number of weeks. Every segment meant something. Every vignette built to something else, and there was more focus than in recent broadcasts. Maybe that is due to the company's efforts to ramp up the hype for a significant show, live from Boston next week, or because of the impending All-In pay-per-view from Wembley Stadium in London next month. Whatever the case, this was a show where there was clearly a vision, with stories that Tony Khan and the creative team obviously wanted to get over with the audience. We had the Chris Jericho dilemma, Nick Wayne's debut, the great Adam Cole MJF stuff, the dissension between Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, and the major reveal to cap the night off. Sprinkled in between were QT Marshall and Harley Cameron's ongoing rivalry with the Acclaimed, Hook's never-ending pursuit of Jack Perry, and Jake Hager's hesitancy to commit to the JAS when the Ocho himself will not. There was a lot to like about this show, and hopefully the company can build momentum coming out of it. Another 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10 for this. So Not much more for me to say on this. So, Michael Bullock, if you thought tonight was great, wait till not only Saturday night in Calgary, but also next Wednesday night in Boston.
Yeah, this was an 8.5. I mean, definitely another good show here. I mean, yeah, a lot of good matches. Yeah, there were some things that could have been better, but all in all, this was an enjoyable show. Yeah, can't wait for Collision on Saturday night. Like you said, with the two finals and the Owen Hart tournament, the AEW World Tag Team Title match, 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, so much more, and of course that will lead up to next week's Blood and Guts. So, Fletch, take it home.
Another 8 out of 10. I thought it was a solid show. Yeah, it served its purpose, man. We got ourselves quite a show for the next few days. So really nothing more to say. So yeah, let's just move right on along. Anthony Flair, come on in, and why don't you hit us with the lineup for tomorrow's TXN Sports World?
A very simple docket here, very straightforward docket tomorrow night for TXN Sports World at 10:30 here on the which will be on the Tone 25. We will recap the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. We will also recap the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Good old MF Michael Fletcher will give us his latest Big 3 basketball report. And in the main event, we will recap the 2023 ESPY Awards that wrapped up just a little while ago on ABC. I will share all the winners, and then we'll give our thoughts like we always do, like we've been doing all these years. So our recaps of the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game of Major League Baseball, MF's Big 3 report, recapping Week 3, previewing Week 4, and then from there, the ESPY Awards recap in our main event. That's your docket for tomorrow night in a nutshell. So tomorrow night, 10:30, Tone 25, TXN Sports World. MF, hit him up with the rest of the future content.
Saturday night is obviously Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will be talking SmackDown and AEW Collision. Of course, the big show from Calgary. And then we do it all over again on Monday night with Ridiculously Raw. For Michael Bullock, for Anthony Flair, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching. And until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for TXN Sports World. So long, everybody.